Hi everyone. So today I wanted to ask you, is it just my own algorithm or is anyone else getting Tony Robbins popping up in their damn YouTube feed every 10 seconds trying to sell them a seminar on how to deal with AI? Today I wanted to really talk to you about AI and not just in art. A lot of it is AI in art, but just AI in the world in general. I am not a huge fan. I make it very clear with people who know me. I'm not a huge fan of AI in general. But of course, I do realize that it is here to stay. Of course, I do realize that it's already integrated into so many things that we use, and it's going to be a part of our society and our future in one way or another. And I am totally aware of that. I'm totally accepting of that. Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize is that as an artist, as a creative, my first impression of AI was that AI was going through and scraping all of my artwork, all of my social media feed, basically my website, everything that I've ever spent my entire lifetime to kind of develop and construct. All of my skills, all of my heart and my soul and my passion, this kind of machine is going through and just ripping off without my consent. So to answer straight up a lot of the reasons why a lot of artists just have a really negative view from the outset about AI, this is why. You have to realize my dog is doing zoomies again. She likes to try to steal steal the show when she knows I'm talking to the camera. But this is why a lot of people kind of go, oh, why? What's your problem with it? This is why. You have to realize that most artists and creatives have, I'm also a graphic designer by trade. And, basically it's taken, already 80% of the work off of the market for us as well. This is my first impression. It's not something that I personally use. I love to obviously create art. I also love to write. I also love to read. I also love to think. I also love to solve problems. I'm not a kind of shortcut person unless I'm driving, in which case, yes, I'll take the shortcut. But when it comes to actually the act of doing something, the act of creating and the act of honing my own skills, I love to actually go through the process. I am I'm a sucker for back in the days before people had GPS and people would say, you already use AI, you use GPS. One, that's a very different thing to the AI that we're talking about through ChatGPT. Has a very different environmental footprint, has a very different overall effect on the world and the planet. But two, it's but I loved that too. There's a certain part of your brain that is activated, that is exercised. Our brain is a muscle. Our brain is so important to use. It's so important to use. And what AI is doing is it's slowly whittling away any necessity to use the brain. Decision making, all of the trial and error that it takes to get to a place, to get to a thing, to get to a solution, to get to an outcome, to get to a creative goal, whatever it is. These things, this is you're literally cutting out the entire purpose of the human journey by fast tracking from this to this. And I know a lot of people will look at it from a sense of kind of efficiency. You just give the AI the repetitive tasks, the mundane tasks in a business and that kind of thing. But we all know that's not how it's being used. We all know that most people now that are going to university are using ChatGPT to do their writing for them. I'm just going to go out there and be real controversial. I'm going to come right out my controversial opinion. And no judgment to people who do use it as a tool. I'm not saying, you guys, there's something wrong with it. But really, let's call it what it is. You're no longer learning. When you're using ChatGPT, you're no longer learning. You're no longer problem solving. You're no longer activating those parts of your brain that can retain memory, that are creating experience, that are going to actually remember this. What you're doing is fair enough, you might be training yourself to use ChatGPT in a role that requires you to use ChatGPT, but I think we can all see the irony in that, because you will eventually probably no longer be necessary in a role that requires you to use ChatGPT. I'm in two schools of thought about it in general, from general, to use it as a general tool. I know it's a part of our society. I know it's here to stay. before everybody comes and tells me that it's inevitable. I'm aware. I think we're beyond that. I'm very well aware. Where I really dig my heels in is when it comes to art. Now, once again, controversial opinion, but I'm going to come right through with this because for me, I feel very strongly about this. AI art needs to be called something else. AI art is not art. If you put a Google search, if you put Google search words into the into the search bar on Google and come up with a result and take a screenshot of whatever comes up, that is not your creation. You didn't create that because you put a few words into a search engine. So AI art is about as much an artwork as Google search results are. I mean, I'm going to stand by that. And I know that there are people who will use it for a certain part of their process, that will use it for, just idea generation, whatever it is. Maybe you've been taught that way. Maybe you've had an art teacher who taught you to do that. Once again, I'm not here to, crucify anyone. Me personally, I do not consider that to be art. The art process does not begin when you put pen to paper or paintbrush to canvas or whatever it is, right? The art process begins in here. It begins in the creation. The only thing anyone can learn to paint or draw, anyone can learn if they repeat enough times for long enough, if they put in the work. I think we've all seen this, right? There's a lot of courses out there saying anyone can learn to draw and paint. It's true. It just takes a lot of us are more predisposed to it from birth, from when we were younger. And some of us, it's a lot of a longer road and it's a lot more of an uphill struggle to kind of really develop, really good drawing and painting skills. But anyone can learn, like a craft, like any skill, to do these things with enough work, enough hard work, and enough repetition, enough determination. Okay? So the real thing that makes you an artist, the real thing that is bringing your soul through, that is bringing your own personal fingerprint, your own personal touch through, it starts in the creation process. It starts in here. It starts in here. It starts in the head and the heart. It does not start in like typing some words into an image generator. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me of that. Feel free to to give me a reason why I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. But as far as I'm concerned, you have at that point ceased to create an artwork, and you definitely should not be calling yourself an artist. AI artist is an oxymoron. For those of you who don't know what an oxymoron is, it's two words that are put together that do not belong together, that mean opposite with opposing meanings. Okay, so AI and artist do not go together. Once you have one, the other one is automatically cancelled out. And I know that might be a strong opinion for a lot of people, but I'm going to say that 99.9% of the artists that I know feel the same way. And because if you are authentic in your arts practice, if you are true to yourself, if you are really doing this, doesn't matter what style of art you make, it doesn't matter what sort of subject you paint, or if you're a photographer, whatever it is, you know that this is about a conveyance of soul. This is about your soul touching the soul of other people's. Every single artist, every single musician, every single real creative person knows this. That is your essential motivator. Yes, a lot of people are doing it for the money. Yes, a lot of people are just painting paintings to sell them or taking photos to sell them. But at the end of the day, the joy, the meaning, the reason why you do that and you don't just have some retail business is because your soul is aching to express itself and to connect with the souls of other people. When you put AI in the center of that, that ceases to happen. And the fact that an infinite amount of artists were ripped off in order to create these search engines should really trigger any single authentic artist out there. And I'm going to make a blanket statement, which you're not supposed to do on the internet, but here I go. Wait for it. Every single authentic artist I know has a problem with that. Every single one, because once again, they know that that's not what they're here for. They're not here to just be like, oh, quick, let's get an image onto a canvas real fast so we can sell it. It's not what artists are doing. That's not what they're doing. Yeah, you might have artists that are selling loads of prints, that are selling on Etsy, that are selling t-shirts, that are selling, prints of their work that are selling paintings like this. But every single one of those artists, if they have at all any kind of credibility to them, and if they are doing it because as true artists, if they're producing from the heart, from their soul, from a place of authenticity, they know that that is the essential factor in all of it. So long story short, I'm sick of seeing Tony Robbins up in my feed. I know that AI is here to stay. I know it's a part of society, and I am excited to see, honestly, what it can do for our future. I don't like ChatGPT personally. I know a lot of people use it, so no hate for anyone who's using it. I'm not here to judge anyone for ChatGPT. But just be aware if you are using it, it has a huge environmental footprint. So do a little Google search, because I've spoken to a lot of people who are not actually aware when they kind of go, oh yeah, it's bad for the environment. Everything's bad for the environment. No, it's like 100 times worse for the environment than other things that you might be using digitally. So it's very bad. It's predicted to get to the point within a few years to consume the amount of water that is required for the whole of New Zealand, okay, within a couple of years. Like, it's bad, okay? We have finite natural resources, and that water has to come from us in order to power these data stations and these servers. So something, if you do use it, you know, that's absolutely your decision. You have every right to do it. I'm not here to judge, but yeah, you know, use it sparingly, use it carefully, use it when it's needed. And also realize that a lot of people are running questions through ChatGPT as if it's the voice of God and it's going to tell you the definite truth of every situation. Do a little bit of research on that too. ChatGPT can be programmed differently. It can be infiltrated by whoever wants to infiltrate it. It can be styled and molded and shaped in order to fit a certain agenda, and that's happening. I don't know if you've heard about it. Certain political groups, certain political leaders paying hundreds of millions of dollars to create certain results and outcomes in ChatGPT. So we're already beyond the point where you're just going to get the truth from this machine, or from this tool. So treat it like a tool. It is not God. It does not know more than people, and it can be manipulated, and it is being manipulated. So if you're going to use it, you know, my suggestion would just be, and take it or leave it, to use it sparingly, like something that is overusing its resources for the planet, and also to use it with a certain amount of awareness that it doesn't replace your own intuition. It doesn't replace you doing your own research, and it doesn't replace, you cannot trust it blindly. You cannot trust it blindly, because nothing is forcing it to just tell you the truth. It's been proven, do a little research. It's been proven time and time and time again, simply by users asking a series of questions, asking it to cite resources, and then it'll suddenly retract an answer and go, oh, we didn't expect you to ask for evidence. Well, actually, it's not true. There are countless cases of people actually testing it, breaking it, and realizing that it can really play tricks on you. But I know it's here to stay. I'd love to hear what you have to think about it. Try and convince me that it has a place in art. Feel free. I'd love to have that debate with you. I don't think you will be able to convince me, but I hope that you're not getting too overwhelmed with Tony Robbins telling you how to use AI in your feeds. This might just be an indication of what sort of content I'm watching. I don't know, because I don't watch anything like Tony Robbins. Once again, no hate to him, but he's not my cup of tea. So yeah, tell me what you think. I am having an exhibition, by the way, with this work is one of the works that will be appearing. And the whole reason why I talked about AI to begin with, actually, was because I recently did this at an artist residency. I painted this painting live at an exhibition over a 1 week period, or actually a 6-day period. And a few people came up to me and asked me if I had used AI in the generation of this image. And I was really like, it got to the point where people would say, oh, so what's your process? Oh, so you've got this reference image, because I create my own reference images, basically it's not Photoshop, it's an Affinity Photo, but Photoshop-like program. My own photos, I create my own digital collage, and I use that as a reference. And And I had to really stipulate by the end of the event, when people would come up and ask, "Oh, what's that?" I'd have to just open up with, "Well, it's my own creation. It's not AI. There's no AI used in my process." And I thought, how wild that we're already in that world where I have to prove that my painting came from my own mind and soul and not some machine. Like, sorry about that noise outside, but yeah, how wild. So we're already there. So if you can't understand why us visual artists and general artists, I'm sure musicians have just as much beef. Writers would have so much beef with this too, so much to say. But if you can't understand why us creatives already are coming out into this, from a standpoint of a little bit of resentment, a little bit of hostility toward this thing, then that's a perfect example as to why. Because now we're getting to the point where we're going to have to prove ourselves all the time. But one final thought actually is, I don't think, everything is lost. I don't think all hope is lost. Yes, it's here to stay. No, I personally don't like it at all. But that's not to say that it can't be very useful. It can be incredibly useful, and I hope that it's used to really create some positive change in the world. I really hope that it is, because it can be used as a valuable tool to help humans connect in a really useful way with each other, with the natural world, with nature, with animals, whatever it is, with other cultures, with, whatever it is, we don't know. So yeah, I hope it can be used in a way to create more connection and to really do some good in the world, because it is a useful tool and it can be used that way. I hope that the reason why, getting Tony Robbins in my feed and that kind of thing annoys me is because, of course, I have this fundamental distrust of the tool right now. Not to say that it's not a great tool and it can't be this incredible tool that can be used for immense good on the planet, right? But right now, who's pushing it? Right now we have the world's elite. We have, the richest men in the world kind of pushing it toward us. The largest organizations, the billionaire organizations, pushing it toward us as if it's like, it's coming, it's a wave, there's nothing you can do about it, get on the train or get off, or be left behind kind of thing. And that I have a fundamental distrust of, because if the billionaires of the world are shoving something down your throat, I think we all know by now, anyone who has a little bit of critical thinking ability knows that that's a massive red flag. But I'm hoping it gets to the point where it's infiltrated to the average person, and the average person on some level is really using it as a benefit to themselves, and not just melting into this cognitive dissonance state where they're using less and less and less of their brain and their soul, because that's not going to be helpful for us as humans. But using it as a to do things that we cannot do ourselves, not to replace things that we can already do. We don't need to use it as philosophers and as artists and as musicians. We already do that. That's what we're here for. We have the soul. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. That's what humans are good at. That's the light side. That's the best side of humanity. We don't give that over, but what we should allow it to do are the things that we can't do, right? So I hope that it gets to the point where that happens. But I do have some optimism around it, even for artists, even though I fundamentally have a distaste for it. But I do believe that one positive thing will definitely come out of it from the artist's perspective, is that it will create so much more value around the handmade, the human made, and the soul made. When you see something that was really made physically, and I know you're going to say, AI can do paintings now. It doesn't matter. People are going to crave. It's like antiques. It's like classic music. It's like classical music. People do not stop appreciating these things. And if anything, when the world starts to all go toward one side of everything can be generated in 10 seconds, everything can be created in 10 seconds, it's going to drain the value out of all of those creations really fast. So there will always be the people who just want quick, cheap, and easy, like a print on the wall that costs nothing. They want the cheapest option, whatever it is. It's not going to appeal to them probably. But for those who are the real, connoisseurs and lovers of art and the human soul, the human spirit, the people that really feel the soul in art, and they feel the value of it, and they understand that having a painting and acquiring a piece of art doesn't just decorate your house or fill an empty gap on your wall. It enriches your life and your soul, and it creates a portal to another realm. It is a portal to your deeper self, to your higher self, to other dimensions, you know, and a source of infinite beauty. You can stare at a painting forever and not get tired of it. How is that? You know, you just there's something there that any other piece of decoration can't do, because art is more than that. It's not decor. It really is a window to the soul and to higher dimensions, a higher vibration. So the people that know that art transcends reality, they're going to lean even more into the handmade. The people that don't. And that's fine. So there are always going to be those people who just want the quickest, cheapest option, and they will have so many options. So that's all I have to say about that. If you'd like to be added to my mailing list to know when this exhibition is going live, it'll be, if you're watching this in November 2025, it'll be at the end of this month. So feel free to sign up via the link under this video. And the exhibition will be both in person in Australia on the Gold Coast, and also online. So you can check it out there as well. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next time.